Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is a No Man's Sky video. And in today's video, what I actually want to look into is a topic which I haven't specifically made a video on as of yet. However, I have spoken a load about it in other videos, and that is what the third part of the Beyond update may well be. Now, this goes without saying that this video is extremely speculation heavy. However, as always, I am going to be using evidence to back up some of my claims, so this isn't exactly your typical blind speculation, you know, rose tinted glasses kind of thing. Now, one thing which I do want to say is that we are likely going to receive confirmation on the third part of the Beyond update very soon, so guys, as always, do keep your eyes peeled for the official confirmation. However, until we have that, there is no reason why we can't speculate and get a little bit excited. So that is exactly what this video is all about today. So with all of that said and done, please do sit back and relax. Let's get started. Okay, so first up, this is by far one of the most talked about additions that the Beyond update could introduce, and that is a space overhaul. Now, a great portion of this video may seem like I am repeating myself, and that is kind of true because I have made separate videos about these topics, and space especially is one of the parts which I have talked about a great deal in recent times. But that is because I think that a space update is extremely likely, and the reasoning behind this is very straightforward. However, it is extremely useful when thinking about what aspects of No Man's Sky need improving and so forth. So to put things into basic terms, space is the one area of No Man's Sky that hasn't seen an entire update overhauling it. Space is still largely 2016 No Man's Sky. Yes, there have been additions to space to make things feel a little bit more lively. For example, abandoned space stations are by far one of the biggest parts of that. However, space itself, as in the area which you fly around when you go between planets and space stations and Atlas stations, has remained largely untouched since No Man's Sky launched. Now, in the Beyond teaser trailer, we did see some new space station or some kind of new portal, and this could suggest that we are seeing a brief touch up on space elements. But as I said, we don't need stuff which is kind of sprinkled on top. We need a outright overhaul, like a variation overhaul or a multiplayer overhaul. Now, I will always say this, and it's a bit of an oxymoron, but space needs more things to do. Space needs to feel a lot more dynamic, less static, a bit like it's kind of moving, living and breathing. Again, that is a complete contradiction. However, in terms of gameplay, it makes a great deal of sense. And in terms of what people always bring up when it comes to a more dynamic space, we of course have things like moving freighters, which is a age-old request, which I don't know will ever be implemented, as well as larger space battles, maybe wrecked ships floating abandoned, and of course orbiting planets which actually move around. They change their position. It's all based on where the sun is. The climate is based off how close it is to the sun. A load more, you know, realistic and pre-release feel to space would be largely appreciated. In very basic terms, I just want space to give us a reason to stay there, because as of right now, space is just a vehicle to getting from point A to point B. It's a place where you fly into to go somewhere, and that is it. You don't exactly stay there. You don't admire stuff apart from photo opportunities. I guess space is kind of like the M25. You use the M25 to get to, you know, London, important places, but you would never just stop in the middle of the road and look at the pavement or look at the grass. There is no reason for you to do that, and that is why I want space to have an overhaul. Gameplay in space is something which we really do need, and that could be something as simple as asteroid landings. That is by far one of the most famous features which has yet to be introduced. But not just asteroid landings, on-foot space gameplay would be an absolute dream and would open up a load of possibilities for gameplay. Not being bound to your ship in space would be just amazing to know that you can get out, wander around, perhaps there's new enemies, new minerals. In general, space just needs a bit of TLC, and it would not surprise me if the third part of the Beyond update focused on exactly that. Now, next up, we have, of course, the huge variation update. Now, this update is way more likely than a space update, largely due to the fact that it is a much more vocal improvement from the community. Variation is going to be something which the community always talks about. They're always going to want it to get better, so there is no need to explain myself in terms of why we want this, why it is important, and all of that good stuff. Myself and a lot of people in the community simply want variation to resemble something like E3, that level of density of planets, that level of variation, and the knowledge that nothing is predictable. Anything can happen, and any planet can look like a complete barren wasteland or a place with absolutely dense forests, amazing animals, advanced AI, all of that good stuff. Even, 1.0 No Man's Sky had incredible variations, somehow more varied, more dense, and more random than current day No Man's Sky. So it has been done, it just needs to be brought back. If you guys ever saw my video where I returned to an old 2016 build on a lush planet, you can see just how hard the terrain generation, the variety, the density has been downgraded somehow in the time since the game originally launched. 2016 builds of No Man's Sky give you absolutely incredible and unpredictable landscapes. You get these awkward bits of jagged terrain and little crevices and streams which you just don't see anymore. And I guess the reasoning behind that is to make things feel more refined. You see that No Man's Sky's generation in the current day is not jagged, it's very smooth, it's fairly timid, and the variation update can just get rid of that. Get rid of restraints, don't hold back, make everything as crazy and dense and, complete and utter colour fest as it was in 2016. But that isn't just the only variation I want to see, because I would love to see a focus on NPC variation and maybe even ship variation as well. The biggest part which I would love to see in relation to ships and NPCs is actually signs of damage, cosmetic damage that has been on ships or has been on a Gek, battle hardened NPCs or different heights and weights to some characters. And this goes the same with space stations. Maybe have some space stations which have seen a lot of wear and tear. Maybe they have different colors, different decals on the walls, maybe even a slightly different layout. There doesn't have to be a million different variations of ways you can walk down a corridor, but there just needs to be a little bit more cosmetic differences. Use procedural generation and rely on that a lot more. No Man's Sky in its current day has focused way too much on pre-made assets, pre-made hazardous plants that don't change, and I don't know why that is. There definitely needs to be a variation update, and I feel like Beyond would be the perfect time to introduce this. Moving on now, we have more survival mechanics. So data mined content since No Man's Sky released and from previous updates and so forth have revealed things to do with hunger, which was a big thing a while back. So why not add hunger to make permadeath and survival even more challenging? Same with all of the leaked audio quotes from 1.3 that said, not being able to launch your ship during a storm or, breakable parts to your starship. I just want there to be more of a challenge, more of a survival feel to the survival and permadeath game modes. Maintaining equipment was actually something that was suggested by Peaceful Gamer on Twitter recently. He showed us the photo of the Beyond character and he basically said that it looks very different to the one we have now. He suggests that there is some kind of wear and tear between the two models. One of them looks slightly more worn, the other looks freshly painted. Maybe this means that we are indeed going to see our character get visible signs of wear from exploring the universe. I guess it's kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2 and how Rockstar made it so you had to clean your weapons after you went in water or mud, where they began to, break down and become less useful, and you had to actually clean them and physically take care of them for them to work as intended. And No Man's Sky could do something very similar to this in survival. Maybe we have to find materials to repair or clean our multi-tools and life support, otherwise they won't work as well as they should do. I mean, there are even parts of the galactic network like lubricant, for example, that I'm pretty sure don't have a purpose aside from selling, and lubricant would fit absolutely perfectly into maintaining equipment, making sure it's working well. There are a lot of parts that can just all be fitted together to make the game feel a lot more survivally and less kind of like you're just, wandering in a lovely, well-preserved park and you're absolutely invincible. In terms of immersion, it's one which I think a lot of people would like to see. And finally, we have a major base building overhaul. So again, data mined content to do with ground turrets and leaking pipes have sown the seed in our minds a long time ago that base building was going to receive some sort of an overhaul, some kind of update that would make it feel a little less permanent and give base building a much more pressing sense of purpose. So maintaining your base and repairing parts due to heavy weather would be absolutely amazing. Perhaps hunger could allow for furnaces and pipes for drinking water as well. Your base would actually be a necessity and not just something which you can optionally build. And in relation to the turrets, they could actually work as defenses for your base against planet bandits. Now, walking NPCs have been confirmed with the Beyond update, and this could mean that bandits on planets that are animated and have basic AI could actually allow for this. I have a video which is going to break this down a lot more, but I feel like there is a chance that we could be defending our bases from some kind of enemy. I just want our homes to feel less permanent and invincible. Once again, more challenge is needed. So guys, that is just about all I have to say for this video. So I do just want to quickly thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then please do feel free to leave a like on it, and if you guys could also subscribe to MZK, then that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot signing out.